Hello and welcome to We Got a podcast about Dragon Ball from A to Z, from Earth to Namek to Sadala. We cover it all. I'm Randy.
And I'm Doug, combined with Guad.
And I'm the White Ranger, Ken.
Whoa,
Damn!
It's morphin' time. You got to close it, right?
Yeah.
Or is that how it works? I haven't seen the show in a while.
Yeah, you close it. Oh, sometimes he talks about vanilla and chocolate smoothies from Ernie's.
I swear, I thought that was
that time.
Aaron Hansen's voice when I first heard it the first time. That vanilla, that outtake that he does.
No, this is actually the late, great Jason David Frank.
It's straight up Jason David Frank just being goofy, his goofy self.
Yeah.
Fantastic. If you can't see, if you're just listening, he's got a morpher. What is it, Ken?
If you just were listening, I've got Jason David Frank here in spirit form through my master morpher.
There you go.
Okay.
Let him finish the sentence.
Let me finish my... Yeah, Randy.
I'm out here trying to cancel you live.
No, it's a great thing to have, and I love it.
It's awesome.
It is so cool. They still got those in stock?
No!
Oh.
It's gone. Ken told us when it was available, and now it's gone. But Randy, who are we?
We are the world's strongest under the heavens trio de dangers here every other week to talk your ear off about fights, goofs, and everything else in the Dragon Ball cosmos. Doug, how you doing? What's new?
I'm doing great, man. Today was a great day because I got my new Quest 3 in hand.
Quest 3 bros.
Yeah, let's go, buddy.
We're both holding it up.
Quest 2.
Ken
We're
is
adults.
pointing.
We're adults without children. The Quest number 2. I'm sorry, Ken. You're outdated. You're out of the club.
Yeah.
I left work early. I went. There's right across from my Best Buy that I had to pick up from There was like a Chinese buffet that has like the best hibachi. So I got a to-go box. Went to go get some hibachi from there. Went to the Best Buy to pick up the Quest. Got home, had lunch while my Quest charged and like updated. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's been a great day. How about you?
Nice. Me, I did the same thing. I left work early. I went and I got lunch. I'm a level 7 susceptible. And if you've ever seen Community, you know what that means. That means that if you mention a product, I'm probably going to go get it. Yeah. So I was listening to a podcast. Somebody mentioned White Castle, and I'm like, well, I know what I'm doing for lunch. Just randomly, here's what I'm doing. So I did that. Got from a Best Buy as well. Came home, and I was in the metaverse for like 4 hours. It was a good times. I watched some Frasier in mixed reality, Ken.
Oh, you did?
So, yeah. I also watched some 30 Rock just because I was like going through my media server. I'm like, what can I just quick put on here?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
have you tried that First Encounter game yet?
Yeah, where you shoot some aliens that come into your room. I sure did.
Yeah, they come in your room. That was pretty freaking dope. I got to admit, that was another level of like, well, it's such a simple game, but just the potential of it is really cool.
Right? Yeah.
Like even just booting up the Quest for the first time, having that screen that's, you have in the Quest too. It's just the same screen. But then I went to go reach my controller, and so like I moved, and the screen staying there was like kind of trippy. It was like, whoa, like that's in my room, it feels like. So yeah, I love this thing.
I'm really excited for the things that they're going to be adding. I think it's early next year, which are things called augments, which are items and things that you can put in your room in mixed reality.
That'd be dope.
In your actual room. So they were having like animated posters and like portals to your apps and like,
I think I've seen
like achievements. You get trophies. You can put them on like your mantle in your actual house.
I wasn't sure how on board I was with the whole mixed reality thing, but actually experiencing it, it's I'm really excited for it. It looks really cool.
I also jumped into Beat Saber for the first time in like a year, and
me too, for a little bit.
Dance by Fall Out Boy. I have not played that in a long time. S ranked it, so
nice, good job, man. Perfect, you still got it.
Heck yeah, Ken, tell us about you and what's new with you.
Well, when people are going to be listening to this episode, they're going to want us to be talking about something a little bit more contemporary than Dragon Ball GT. So we're gonna pretend like New York Comic Con has already happened, okay?
Oh, yeah.
And we're going to be like, hey, Fusions 2? Wow, gosh, I can't believe they announced that.
I can't believe it. They actually named it Tenkaichi 4. I can't believe people were right.
Sparking 0, semicolon, Budokai Tenkaichi 4. New platform. They're going to have DLC packs called Budokai Tenkaichi 1, Budokai Tenkaichi 2, which are going to be like $70 DLC packs that come with new batches of characters.
And it's just like the Naruto games. Yeah. It's just the unfortunate title.
And it was crazy how they spent like 30 seconds talking about Dragon Ball Magic and they got booed off the stage.
Yeah, no one wanted it.
Yeah, spent the next 45 minutes talking about the Dragon Ball Fusion card game or whatever it is. Really great event. I'm glad we all marked October 12th on our calendars for Dragon Ball.
Perfect.
So.
I'm still disappointed they didn't announce more Dragon Ball full color manga because you know that ain't happening no matter what.
I'm still waiting for that, man.
Not without a retranslation.
Yeah, man.
I'll take anything at this point with that.
So, like Gerard Jones did not translate Dragon Ball himself.
No.
Yeah, I think there was a couple translators who actually did it, and then he went in and
person named Trisha, who I can't
the
remember her
words.
last name.
And so yeah, they have somewhere in Viz's like lockbox, they have the actual translation. Just throw that out.
Start fresh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
It'd be easy. And you'd make a lot of money, Viz. Yeah. Just make it happen.
I'd buy it, honestly.
Yeah.
I've got a shelf that's got a bunch of empty space on the sides for where the rest of them are supposed to go. So
I don't, but I'll make room.
So
I made room this weekend, actually. I cleared out this corner, put a more behind me in this wall, and now I have much more corner space for more figures.
It sounds like you just moved your stuff around.
Nope.
It's the same amount of space.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem.
No, not at all. Well, that's cool. It's great to catch up with you guys, and I'm glad that
we caught up in the future.
Whatever. Yeah, we caught up in the future from
the Quest 3 is so old now that I'm sorry we brought that up. That's old news at this point. I'm sorry.
Real sorry. My apologies.
It's all about the Sandland. We got the demo Sandland at Comic-Con too. That was pretty dope.
Ooh.
Driving that tank.
Heck yeah. I don't know. You guys ready to jump into what we normally talk about here, which is Dragon Ball GT?
You mean we don't spend the whole episode on a bit?
Surprisingly, no.
This isn't Mega 64.
It hasn't happened yet, but one day.
Hey, I already know she wear the shirt.
He's wearing a Mega 64 shirt. It's like they planned it, like they share a brain. Well, fine. If you guys are cool with it, I say we jump into our retrospective of Auspiciosity. We're doing more episodes. We're doing 32 to 35 this here today. And to catch you up, in case you don't know what's going on in Dragon Ball GT, after a year of Dragon Ball hunting across the universe to save the Earth from exploding, Goku, Pan, and Trunks return home. Upon landing on Earth, they find the world taken over by the evil Neo-Machine mutant Baby, who also infected Trunks in space. After having possessed Vegeta's body and reviving Planet Plant, Baby is on the cusp of victory to eliminate the Saiyan menace. Meanwhile, Goku must train in the Kaioshin realm to gain the power to defeat Baby and save the Earth. And these episodes aired from January 8th, 1997, whole new year, to January 29th, 1997. Unless, was there one on January 1st? From last week? I don't remember. It's fine.
No, we're in a new year. Yeah.
We're in a new year. And we're here to go. Ken, you got any... With a brand new attitude. Ken, do you have any meanwhile in anime for this session?
I do not, but I do have big picture thoughts about these episodes.
Big picture thoughts?
Ready? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. You want us to go first?
I'll set my stage
him to go
here.
First. Yeah.
There's something, I do believe it was Q-Tip Addict. That was their handle, said last episode, which was that Dragon Ball GT never gets as weird again as it did with Sugoroku Space. And I kind of felt that here. There are parts of these four that just felt like I was watching Dragon Ball Z again, possibly to the detriment of the series. That's not to say I did not enjoy these episodes, because I did. But I didn't enjoy them as much as I thought I was going to.
Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I felt it was very kind of similar, but it felt Dragon Ball Z in the worst way. In like they don't understand what made Dragon Ball Z so special, and it's just like it's all about the fights. Let's just start doing that. Let's just have a character go here, and then they power up, and then the other one powers up, and it just keeps going. So that was my take on it.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
Well, I was going to say, kind of feel the same, except for I like that GT, unlike Z and everything else, respects my time, because we're moving at a fast clip for everything, which is nice. We're not sticking around for anything too long. I do kind of wish we slowed down a bit because there are cool things that happen, and it's like, let's just live in the moment for like 5 minutes. Can we do that, please?
Every episode that we watched in this batch ends with a transformation.
Everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 32, Oob and Boo fuse. Episode 33, Goku goes Golden Ozaru. Episode 34, Goku goes Super Saiyan 4.
Super Saiyan
Episode
4.
35, Baby goes Golden
Monkey
Ozaru.
baby. Yeah.
Every episode of transformation.
Yeah. Jeez, there's something happening all the time.
Yeah. They're just blazing through it. Like I told you, transformation, power up upon power up upon power up. That's not what it's all about, but that's what GT thinks it is.
It echoes what we were talking about with that Goku versus Baby episode from the last batch, where it should have been 2 episodes. And like here, we probably should have stretched out another episode with Oob. And then everything else.
Yeah.
I wanted more Super Saiyan 4, Goku versus Baby.
Regular baby.
Yeah, regular Baby. Because in my head, going into this, I thought we were going to get a lot of that.
Yeah, at least 2 or 3 episodes of it, but like from just from recollection. But no, it's literally like 1 episode, or like one little fight scene.
Yeah, and I know how many episodes we have left with Golden Ozaru Baby, so I'm like, so you're telling me this whole time that Goku is here, Super Saiyan 4, he's dealing with the monkey version of Baby.
Yeah.
And not this other one, so.
That's wild, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's, Randy, why don't you get us into episode 32 here?
Yeah,
why don't we jump in for realsies? So, episode 32, Return Goku, the angry warrior Oob. Oob arrives on the scene just in time to save Pan from Baby and his followers. Goku's pupil has continued to train over the past year to impress his teacher, but now he stands as the last protector of Earth. However, it's just not enough, and Oob is defeated. Just before he can be destroyed by Baby's revenge death ball, Mr. Boo arrives on the scene to save him and merge with Oob to even the playing field against Baby.
So now that we're in this episode proper, I almost started ranting about this before we got to it. We went into combined Oob way too fast, and it felt cheap.
Yep. Like we just disregarded Oob as a character completely. Like, nope.
Yeah, had we spent this entire series up to this point with Oob, I think going into so let me just back up just a second. I think the idea of Oob fusing with Boo and becoming combined Oob is fantastic. 11 out of 10, AAA stylish Devil May Cry. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But beyond that, we didn't spend enough time with Oob for him to earn it for me as an audience viewer. That I just feel like, okay, guys, we didn't get any time with him before we jumped straight into this.
It almost feels like he's cheating. Like it's not like, oh, Oob, you've earned this strength that Boo is giving you by fusing with you. No, it's just nope, just power him up a little bit.
Yep,
we need something to distract while Goku's getting his tail yanked on.
Yeah, we needed more of a fight, just because we played up Oob. He's here. He's gonna do great. He's been training for a year, and he gets like what? I don't know, 120 seconds of a fight before he's like, guess it's not enough. Like,
it was interesting how what he said. Like, I've been training with my siblings. I think he said like for a year. I wonder like why that line was thrown in there. Like maybe for some more deep lore. Like, oh, so his siblings are also fighters too, and it's.
I thought it was they hid in the mountains away from. That's explaining
I think he said hid and trained, but maybe he was just talking about himself.
So I wrote this line down verbatim.
You did.
So first of all, shouts out to the GT writers for immediately explaining why Oob was able to avoid all of this. But when Oob shows up, he says, "When things started happening on Earth, I took my siblings deep into the mountains to train and to protect them."
There it is. I knew it. Yep. To train. Yeah. I knew that caught me off guard a little bit, but yeah. So apparently it makes sense. Like it would be weird if Oob showed up to the 25th Tenkaichi Budokai, and he's just like not really a fighter, but he's just doing this for the water.
Especially weird because he wasn't born yet.
We're on 28th, Douglas.
Yeah. 28th. Yeah. Sorry, I had a mic moment.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a waste of potential there, and we really could have teased some stuff out. a bit further. Like we said, these 4 episodes I think could have been 6 easily, and it still wouldn't have felt like a real
6?
kill to
yeah. Oh, these 4. I thought you meant this just the Oob battle. Like
no, just this 1 episode
of Oob.
6.
Yeah, an extra episode of just normal Oob, and then an extra episode of Baby Against the Rails with Super Saiyan 4 Goku.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There were some things in this episode that I wanted to note, unless, Ken, you had something else you wanted to add here before I take it off.
No, go ahead.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So, I like that Oob is kind of shown to really have an affection for Goku.
Yes.
Like, he kind of has this flashback thing of, like, here was us training, and, like, granted, it wasn't really a lot because it's just using stuff from GT episode 1.
Can I interject just a second about that?
Yeah.
I had such a roller coaster of emotions with that flashback scene when it starts. It's just the reused animation of episode 1, and it's such an eye roll moment for me. Like, they couldn't have bothered to draw a scene of before from like the 10 years or whatever that they're gone. How long is it? Whatever it is, how long they're out training themselves. They couldn't have drawn like maybe a build up from like when they first left to go train, and little by little just show little moments. No, just this fight scene that we've already seen back then, and then. I was thinking, okay, fine, as long as they show the ending of them walking out of the chamber, like beaten up and like happy. But I'm thinking, like, even then, I wish they drew maybe from Oob's perspective of seeing Goku like smile, like a redrawn, and then they do it. It has Goku a new redrawn scene of Goku like waving at him or like saying bye, and it's like, okay, that was nice. But I wish it was more. But I was glad it ended like that.
I had that same gut reaction about seeing reused footage, and then I had to think back to myself, like, okay. If I'm in Japan in 1997, it's been a long time, and I might not even remember who Oob is.
Right.
So you got to remind me. It's been 6 months, guys. Please tell me, who is this kid?
Oob was this character that should have been at the end of Z, the torch passing on like character, like. But so to just throw him away like that and just reuse footage or whatever, just feels so disrespectful.
Even with just that, I feel like they really nailed how Goku is kind of a father to him, even in that short bit. And I felt it. Like, that was a good job on their part. So kudos there. Oob trained more for the... Right. So Oob has been training this whole year. So it's like, all right, cool. Even though he was already, like, I guess, base Goku level. I don't know. Whatever you want to say for that. But, like, he's even better than he was before. So that's cool. As everybody's kind of like escaping before this battle starts, like all of the baby followers, I'm not sure if you noticed this, a few of them are holding their stomachs.
I did. And I think...
Did you notice, Ken? Did you... go ahead, I'm sorry.
I think a couple of them are holding their butts.
Their butts, their crotches. They're like facing backwards, and one is like holding their balls like this. I had to rewind. I'm like, is that how do I represent that for people... I don't want to do it myself. You know the Ginyu pose where he looks under his legs? It's that, but then also grabbing his crotch underneath, and like because of the diarrhea thing that Pan gave them all.
Exactly, which is so good.
So funny,
man.
So a quick no, go ahead.
When did we get? I must have missed it. When did we get on this planet?
So
when did we leave Earth?
Doug, that's what I was about to bring up. So, well, we went in the last episode because Boo was on the ship to get there. We didn't see it happen, but it happened.
Oh, okay.
But what I was about to pick at was how did Oob get here?
Right. I mean, he might have had the same idea. He maybe snuck on the ship too.
I guess, perhaps.
Maybe. There's so many spaceships around. Maybe he just grabbed one and went over there. That's why he was late.
But he would have felt Boo's key, most likely, because he said the whole reason he came out of hiding was because of the disturbance with Goku's key. So he probably would have felt Boo. Why not? He'd be like, hey, well, I guess he did say he hadn't met Boo yet.
Right. No, he hadn't.
So never mind. There is an internal, consistent logic to Dragon Ball GT.
Wow, they did it, boys.
I don't think there was ever a time where they said that Oob doesn't know instantaneous movement, that Goku didn't teach him that at all. So, like, he could have sensed Boo or Mr. Satan. I don't know. Maybe
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of moments that could have been said, but not shown to us. One in particular, but before I forget, I'll just say it now because it's a few episodes deep, but it's like Chi-Chi telling Pan and Bra about like, oh, the when they transform into giant apes, they go wild and lose their sense of reason. I'm like, I don't think Chi-Chi's ever seen that or witnessed that. The only way she would know that is maybe like pillow talk with Goku or something like that. Like just kind of mention it. But when would they really do that? I guess they've been around together enough. Maybe they could have talked about it, but we've never seen that happen. So it was really weird for her to bring it up. But yeah, come back to this episode.
I like the baby admitting that Goku is the strongest Saiyan while he's in Vegeta's body and accessing Vegeta's memories, meaning that somewhere deep down Vegeta also believes that same thing, which ties back to you are number one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Baby throws like a tantrum when all of his Saya buddies are like, "We'll help you fight Oob," and he just blasts them the fuck out of there. Like I thought you needed these people.
Which also makes me think about what these mind-controlled babies are. Like, they're not baby himself. They're just like a reborn Tsufurian. Is that? Do you guys know more about what they are?
Well, we talked about this last episode with Kuririn and 18 still like, oh yeah, we're married and like I'm scared of my wife and she's mean, but like we all love baby, so
they're same character. Yeah, they're all about baby now. Baby's the religion.
But there's a later episode of this where Chi-Chi has an interaction with Pan for a second where it like that gets dropped. Like, she stops being evil towards Pan.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready to set sails here? Because I'd like to talk shipping.
Oh, okay. The part that always comes up.
Pan and Oob, right? There's like an immediate chemistry between them.
Really?
And the way that Pan like seems really affected by the fact that Oob got knocked the hell out.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I didn't think about
pick up on that.
Going into this series, I was always under the impression that there were going to be weird Pan and Trunks like shipping things, we never encountered any of that, so I don't know. It's just shipper's going to ship, I guess. But we should send Oob into space. It would have been a much more him and Pan. You could have developed something because we do know through Nekomajin that Pan and Oob did spend at least some period of time together in between the 28th Tenkaichi Budokai and GT. We briefly see Oob and Pan in that part, but
really? Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. But also, when was that beach episode that they had? Does that retroactively go against like them not seeing each other before the 28th Tenkaichi Budokai? Because is Pan younger in that, or is she the same age as after? Like, could have been like a few months after. No, because Goku's gone training off with Oob. You know what I'm talking about? The beach episode, but when they're in the beach having the flashback.
The flashback from the photo.
So for it to be consistent with what Bulma says at the end of Z, which as far as Super goes, never happened. No. For it to be consistent with that, this would have to have been after that. Like Goku returns briefly and leaves Oob back in the Southern Islands.
Right. But Pan looks younger, like significant, like... Yeah, I don't know. Doesn't matter, but it's just fun to poke at that kind of stuff. Anything ready?
About that, no. I'm just looking ahead at my notes, and are we at the point where we can talk about Boo and Mr. Satan?
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, sure.
That was emotional. Like, we were talking, that good job on the GT writers for adding this. Like, I thought that goodbye between Boo and Mr. Satan was great. Like, I felt it, deep down in my Kakarot.
Whatever is dear to Satan-san is dear to Boo too.
To Boo too.
Satan,
was pretty nice.
I love you.
God.
That was pretty good.
Oh, that's so good.
I wish I got the same feeling you guys did. I couldn't stop laughing because it felt as if when Ken brought up shipping, I thought that's what he was going to talk about. Was the shipping between
the wavelengths
Mr. Boo
breaking.
and Satan. Because the way Mr. Boo says it to him, he's like, Satan, I love you. And like the music comes in the background and it's just all beautiful. I mean, like, yeah, obviously it's a friendship love, but the way he says it and it's presented, it kind of seems like a romantic kind of love, but
could be.
That's just my own headcanon.
I didn't read it that way.
I read it that way as my jokey brain is like turning on, like, that'd be funny if this was like this, but
I mean, he does say Daisuke.
That's what it was, and I couldn't get out of that to accept the nice, actual, genuine moment that it was that you guys saw.
No,
it's just my dumb brain that did that to me. It's
familial love, I think, brotherly love.
I know, 100% it was. Yeah, I'm just saying my brain turned it into the joke and then couldn't get out of that jokey headspace to appreciate the nice sentimental moment.
I think I almost teared up at this.
Really?
And it's like, it's crazy to me that the moments that make me borderline either going to cry or borderline about to cry all have to do with Mr. Satan.
Not a coincidence, I think, because we all know that Mr. Satan's the best.
Yeah, he's great. That's what I also wish they would have done a more of a flashback with those two. They didn't really do anything. He's like, I love you because you
saved that dog.
You attacked the people who killed my dog or whatever.
That's what it was.
Like, oh, can you show a little more? Like maybe that we haven't seen?
I think that was just, that was the turning point when he had to expel Evil Boo from himself. Because he just couldn't take the evil part of him was no longer jiving with the rest of him.
Compatible.
Compatible with who he was suddenly becoming. And so I think that was like why he brought that moment up. And it was also just a testament to the kind of person Satan is.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. Speaking of like the Boo transformations, it's funny Boo explaining that to Oob. And like all that, and then Oob's question is, what was Oob's question like back to it? It was like something like that whole weird explanation of like, yeah, this Boo expelled from me, then went that, then turned to a kid, and then that became you. And it's like, you're Batman? Like it was such a weird like.
He says something
question
like,
he had.
So I feel like I've met you before, or this isn't the first time we've met, or something.
That's what he starts out, and then that's when Boo explains the thing. But then Oob's response back was like, "You're pink." It was some dumb thing like that.
I don't remember.
Yeah, me neither.
It wasn't as dumb as "you're pink," but it was just like there's so many like that's the question you ask after all these things that he just told you. Like that's the question you're questioning him. It's one of those things.
So when Oob like rockets off now merged to go and fight Baby left, is he like on a parade? Like what was happening? Like there's followers everywhere. He's like in a car with Bulma. And it's like, did you just like, well, beat Oob. Now I'm going to take my parade back to the city. Like that's what I felt like was happening.
It's what I think is so cool about the way that Baby's like journey he's on right now is that he's already won. Right? Like in his mind.
Yeah. Goku's gone.
Yeah.
Who else does he have to worry about?
Yeah. And so he just, he's having a parade. He's still like, let's Bulma be his wife. And he just
needs to execute his plan of turning everyone into Tsufruians, and that's it.
Yeah. And he's really not even evil. Like at this point, like he's done what is done. Right.
And no, he's still trying to corrupt the entire universe. Isn't that his plan, to turn everyone in the universe?
Oh yeah, it's his Fudai's the galaxy.
Right.
But
that's what I wish they would have played that angle more of like of us being like maybe Baby is right, like the whole Thanos thing. Like get us to empathize more with Baby, not just like there's the evil side of him, so now we can't root for him kind of thing.
Baby's a New World Order globalist.
When he has that flashback of the fucking Saiyans destroying his planet, you could feel for him. You could like, oh yeah, the revenge feeling is justified, but they don't really. His freaking death ball is called Revenge Death Balls. So it's like, oh, it's just bad guy 101.
Goku's getting his tail yanked out because they're like, guess what? First of all, we get to come back to him early in this episode, and he's not grinding coffee anymore. It's like, well, that's done. I'm like, okay. I think we do have old Kaio drink some. He's like, oh, that tastes awful. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah,
we've got a new.
We got to speed this up.
Exactly. We got a new tactic. We're just going to yank your tail out. So he's got this weird little flesh nub, and then towards the end of this episode, that's
gross.
I know.
I hate it.
And then they're yanking it out, and now it's just a furry tail.
Well, they had to peel that implies that they peeled skin back as they were yanking it out.
Yeah,
I don't like this.
That was I pictured horrible things, and I'm like, I'm glad they didn't show it, but I forget
how they handled that in the U.S. broadcast, because there's no way they could have shown.
There's a little butt crack showing.
Even Goku butt, let alone the fucking backwards dick coming out of his tailbone. It was so weird. And like the joke was like, all right, Goku, I got a plan. Strip. Like that's the joke. I don't think it was that explicit in the English dub. It might have been, but I don't think they would. I think they would have changed it.
Dress down to your skivvies now.
Yeah, probably. Also, did Kaioshin, the Elder Kaioshin, referred to our Kaioshin as just Kibito? Yeah. Is that usual, or is that?
They had seemed to have gone out of their way to say anything anything of like who this character is until right then he's like, Kibito, give me do this. I'm like, what?
But he's Kibito Kai. He's the fusion of Kibito and the Kaioshin. But what I wonder, then it made me think, what did he call him before? Has he always been just calling him Kibito? Like, that would make sense because he's like
in the last episode. The last episode, he said Kibito Kaioshin.
He said that, but it was like a shorthand, just like I'm just gonna call you Kibito. You'll know what I mean.
Yeah,
I'm the freaking. I'm a Kaioshin. I'm a freaking god. I don't care.
Overall thoughts this episode. I felt Oob back in action. Great to see. Even if it's short-lived. Boo's heartfelt goodbye was well done. Merger is cool in that it looks different than a fusion or anything like that. Because, it wasn't just like, well, let's just form into one thing. It was like, let's get some goop on you. And now you're a new person.
like that. That was nice and clever because it's a callback of what Super Boo did when he like absorbed people, but it's kind of a reverse thing. I just laughed at the fading Boo fading into a laying down like ooh. I'm like, there's no other visual way you could have done that. Like it's just reeks of uncreativity.
I like that Oob's voice goes from like, hey, I'm Oob. Hey, I'm Oob. I'm Oob combined now.
Does it change? Is it a new voice actor?
It's the same,
or just like a more deeper?
It's the same guy, he's just speaking in a deeper voice.
Okay.
Yeah. Noticeably deeper voice, yeah.
Noticeably, yeah. It was good, though.
Yeah. It's a good time. Wish we had more time with some stuff, but yeah. You know how it goes.
Yeah. There's one joke that in the Kaioshin realm that actually did get me and was actually really funny. God, I wish I wrote this down, but it was when they tied Goku up to the rock. They're like, we got to change this up. We got to time to the rock, and whatever joke it was. God dang it, I forgot what it was, but it was an actual like I laughed out loud moment that because there were so many jokes that they made throughout this episode with them that weren't funny at all. Like they were meant to be funny, but just weren't funny. But this one actually hit the nail on the head. I forget what it was, but if I think about it, I'll bring it back up.
Great story. Move on to the next one. Ken,
Please.
do you want to
Episode 33. Take this, baby. The reborn Oob's finishing beam. A renewed Oob hunts down Baby and challenges him to a rematch. While Oob's upgraded strength puts Baby on the back foot, the Tsufruization overtakes Oob in a beam struggle that results in Oob turning to chocolate. Choco Beam Kaishi. Goku, now finished with his training and having regrown his tail, arrives just moments too late and now has to fight against Baby alone. Despite being promised that regrowing his tail will unlock his latent power, Goku's strength hasn't risen at all. What will happen now? Well, let me tell you what's going to happen now, is that we got to see Super Saiyan 3 Goku again, at least.
Yes, I was so happy. I was like, good. I got to see more, and it was drawn well.
And Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 1.
Exactly, but I had complained previously that I was like, the one time we're going to see Super Saiyan 3 in this freaking series, and Uchiyama drew it, and it looks bad.
So I'm glad we got him back. I was kind of hoping this would have been the first time reveal, but it wouldn't make sense plot-wise, because it's supposed to be a comparison of like, oh, you're just as weak as you were before, so.
Yeah, it was a good point to not have this be the first time he uses it.
Right.
Because it worked to show how strong Baby was before for him to use it and then get the floor wiped. This is a Seigasha episode, so we're talking about Hisada, Tate, Shimanuki, I think.
Yep.
Man, and it is Seigasha for better or worse.
For better or worse. Yeah.
There is some strange art in this episode, and it's just...
But I'm here for it. Like, it looked off, but I really liked it.
Yeah, I don't know. I have my issues with Seigasha, but...
I mean, you didn't like the close-up muscle bulging on Oob as he's powering up of just like each muscle group getting bigger.
That was the worst.
Oob doing that kick and his whole body contorts in a weird way and his leg goes like way up vertically and no, I don't.
Oh man, I live for that shit. That's great. I love that.
I love Goku being like, "Hey, I've got a plan. Elder Kaioshin, you go over to this rock and then I'll fly."
That's the joke. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh,
Ken.
so you're thinking of this episode where it suddenly switches.
That's what, yeah. It's like, I got a plan, and then it cuts, and it's him tied to it. It's like, what the hell? But then he actually has a good reason for it. That's what it was. Thank you. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I can stop looking for it now.
People forget that Goku is smart when it counts.
Exactly. Yeah. For dumb things. He's smart at dumb things. Am I the only one? Like, I know that this isn't how it works, because I've seen the show before, but when Oob was powering up, and his hair got a pink highlight, I'm like, oh, you're should just turn pink. That would be so sick. But it doesn't happen, of course.
Well, Randy, in my fan fiction, it does. So we can get to that later.
Oh, I can't wait to read it. Yeah. You should get it animated. Sagasha only.
I got to get it written first.
There's no way to tell if a character is stronger unless their hair changes in this series.
I thought it was weird that Baby tells his followers to stand back for this fight when he just blew the heck out of Gohan and Goten like 5 minutes ago.
That's what I'm telling you. He's not a bad guy. He cares about his Tsufruized people.
It's fair, except for the ones that are Saiyans.
Well, that makes sense.
Well, that's because they were like, hey, you need a hand? And he didn't.
Yeah.
And he let them know.
That was Vegeta coming out.
The old
there.
Vegeta came out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like to think current Vegeta isn't like that, but the old Vegeta came out.
Yeah,
Choco Beam. Choco Beam is cool. I'm glad that they brought that back. You know,
Yeah.
Be like, oh yeah, that is a Boo thing. So I guess Oob.
I wish
being able to
he
do
didn't like fuck up the entire world by announcing it. Hey, I'm gonna turn you into chocolate, and then that's when he dodges it. Like if you didn't say anything, regular Key Blast, you probably would have got hit by it. But whatever.
Yeah.
Well, he does switch it up then because then he fires all of these like different like key arrows that go and like past him, past Baby,
Swings him back.
and it's like swings him back. Like, all right, cool. And then they twist into a tornado.
That
then fires its own blast. I'm
just
like,
one, just one blast. Yeah.
And then in that beam struggle, maybe I missed it. It just randomly switches to now it's Oob that's the one firing it rather than it being shot from this tornado of ki. Like,
yeah, like the tornado was behind him. He went forward, and I guess he just kind of like followed it over. I don't know. He just followed it back and kept it just turned into a classic, boring old beam clash.
But in the beam struggle that we do have, I loved it when they're in the beam struggle and Baby takes his beam, splits it in two, and then pushes it back together again. I was like, that's so awesome.
Yeah. I don't know what that accomplishes, but it looks so cool.
Yeah, it did.
Was it this Oob, or was it probably the episode before that he does like he fires blast at Baby, and I'm like, oh, that's Vegeta's attack. Like I just made that internal joke to myself and laughed.
I mean, every time somebody does something like that, I think it might have been this right before it turns them around and all that.
But I wish that move was like in a video game, because that Oob that like he fires a bunch of arrow looking beams at him and then turns into a tornado. That would have been a really cool move to have in a video game.
I think it is. I'd have to check Tenkaichi 3. Because I know that there's Oob and Oob merged, and I just unlocked them like a week ago, so I should really get in there.
Get on that.
Did you guys get chills at the end of the episode?
What happened in the episode? Remind me.
We're jumping all the way to that?
Yeah, I really don't think a whole lot happens in this episode.
No, but I guess go for it. Go for it. What's going on?
When Goku's like looking at Earth, and then you see like him as a kid and like just everyone who he's known over the years, and then just
the beach episode.
Yeah, and then him being like, I don't know, he said something emotional, and it's like then the Ozaru transformation triggers, and I like the hair on my arms stood up.
Wow.
I mean, it's like the lowest Goku has ever been to know be sort of. Not nostalgic, but just sort of like looking back, like yeah, man, I guess that's life, and here's what mine was like. And
well, no, he's sad that like this place where I met all these people, and that I've had all these memories. Like it's gonna be gone. Yeah,
because he's always just kind of been in it to fight, and now it's like, oh man, like I can't protect that, and that's what's important to me. Like, oof.
Yeah, being able to look at it, I think, does help him too. Just physically, because if he's on Earth and having that issue, you can think about it, but actually seeing the Earth and like that, the astronauts must have that same feeling too when they look at Earth for the first time from space, and just like, wow, that's where everything is that I've had in my life before this.
I loved the heartbeat thing that starts happening. Oh
yeah, the eye color change, because it's like the same sort of style, the way that at least for me, like Gohan's transformation. I don't think we've seen Goku transform into a giant ape since the 21st. Is that right?
That's correct.
21st Budokai? Okay.
Yeah.
Been a long time for that guy. Besides the transformation thing, I know this is just GT and just like let it happen, man, but like old Kaioshin is like, you know what's going to get you stronger if you have your tail back. And he doesn't exactly like explicitly say like, because you'll turn into a big monkey. He's just like, no, man, that's where the power is. You got to have that back.
That's where it's at.
And then when he, is fighting, Kaijin's like, I just don't get it. Why didn't it work? And it's like, you never explained the theory in the first place, dude. Like, I don't know what you're expecting.
It's going to bring back he just read a book somewhere once that it said that. And like, that's got to be it. So
just say also, that.
And then the next paragraph, it says Super Saiyan 4 because he literally calls it by name the next episode.
He's like, there it is. That, next episode.
No, like even as he's a golden ape, he's like, he's got to control it because then he won't be able to transform into Super Saiyan 4. Like, what? Why blow your load like that and say that? That's so...
Yeah.
Just imagine being a fan watching this for the first time with no preconceived notions of what Super Saiyan 4 is.
Well, except for the intro.
Oh, no,
Right.
Well, you've seen for weeks what's in the OP.
It's been on the evening news. They're talking about it. You know how they have like a panel of guests in their news programs.
There's got to be some kids that skip it just like they do nowadays. They just like don't even bother with the intro at all. Or like maybe they saw it once and then it didn't register.
Ken, I'm turning to you because you're guidebook pilled. Is there anything in there that says like what Golden Ozaru is, like what triggers it, like why did Goku turn into this?
I think I have that written up on the Kanzenshuu wiki already, but I don't know off the top of my head. But
is it just because he's achieved Super Saiyan before and now this is the first time like this thing has happened? I do like that it exists purely from the anime when Vegeta was thinking, like, oh, has Goku achieved the legendary Super Saiyan? And it was a golden monkey. So it's like,
this will be news to Doug, but in the esteemed video game Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, there is a part where I think Gohan is talking to Vegeta and is asking why Vegeta's tail doesn't grow back. And Vegeta says something along the lines of like, once a Saiyan has reached a certain point in power, I guess like become more powerful than they would be as Ozaru, they don't need it anymore, or something to that effect. And like so if I'm wanting to, piece together little pieces of what we've been told over the course of the series, and Randy, I would say, it's like a Saiyan who's reached that next level and has a tail. This is what becomes of that.
So I want to do some math, if that's okay.
Oh boy. Everyone's favorite part of the podcast.
Favorite part of the podcast, Randy's math time. So I try not to be into, battle powers, things like that, but I want to talk about it. It says latent power, which has come out. So let's take this. Base Goku, the original multiplier of becoming Super Saiyan is a 50 times multiplier. And Super Saiyan 2 is 2 times that. Super Saiyan 3 is 4 times that, which is a 400x multiplier of Goku's base power. But base Goku times Ozaru, which is tenfold, plus a 50 times multiplier for Super Saiyan, that's a 500 times multiplier. So he is stronger than it was as a Super Saiyan 3. So it is his latent power. Like, yeah, man, he's stronger. I think the math checks out. And if you, listener, want to catch me and I'm wrong,
that was Randy's math corner.
That means there's a very small window in which we place baby's strength.
Yes.
Between that 400 and 500.
400 to 500 is a big thing. Like there's a lot of numbers between those. So, but yes, that does kind of, if we want to really nail in how strong is baby, he's like, well, he's between Super Saiyan 3, which is a 400, like.
That is the issue. The main issue with GT in itself is that it feels like we're reverting back to a power scaling type thing. Like when he's kicking Super Saiyan 3 Goku's ass, he's like, you didn't gain any stronger. You're not any stronger. I'm like, it's not about like what your power level's at. It's about how you fight and like how. I mean, I guess in some aspect how different your power levels are, but if you're relatively close, you can still anyone's game kind of deal. Depending on the story.
It's been like a day or two. So I don't know.
Right.
he without the room of spirit and time, he doesn't have any time to adjust a fighting style. So
right.
I think it's just an intimidating thing. Baby was saying.
Yeah.
Baby wasn't like pulling out spreadsheets and being like, let's compare our feats since you've been gone and since you've come back.
Specifically feats.
I'm logging into kanzenshuu.com/forums right now. Goku, you make an account too, and we'll fight this out there.
Baby pulls out a Kanzenshuu book
and
just goes through it. Oh, man.
They make Kanzenshuu books now? Hey, guess what? Too. This episode overall, I'm glad that GT doesn't pad stuff out. But I think the Oob fight could have lasted longer again, or at least visually had Baby like on the ropes or damaged somehow to show that this new power accomplished anything before we just also got rid of Oob entirely. And the Great Ape transformation seems like it was just convenient and not what Kaioshin even thought would happen. Yeah. Which I guess is kind of funny. Just kind of like, well, I know it's going to do something. And it's like, well, I didn't think it was going to do that, but hey, that works.
There's a running theme with Toriyama, I've always felt, of the gods are inept. And I think that's, especially through the Boo arc, there's a lot of that. And then that even continues into Super as well. Just nobody knows what they're doing. And that's here as well. I think that carries through.
But it's just that line of like him saying he's got to control it, or he's gonna, unless he wants to become Super Saiyan 4. Like, why? That seems like you knew that ahead of time. It's like a very forward thinking kind of deal. Like you know you have the script, so you know what's gonna happen. It's so lame. I would have preferred if they didn't call this Super Saiyan. I mean, Super Saiyan 4 just alone sounds pretty badass. But I would have preferred if this was like the legendary Super Saiyan, like this form. But I guess we'll get to that when we come up to that episode.
Anything else from that episode you guys want to talk about?
No. Unfortunately, we're about to have to talk about a Last House episode, so...
Get ready. Oh, so, episode 34, the transformation fails, Goku's Ozaru rampage. Without any extra power, Goku is quickly defeated by Baby yet again. Goku looks longingly at the Earth hanging in the sky, lamenting his inability to save both it and the people he loves. The sight of the full Earth triggers something in Goku, who undergoes his first Ozaru transformation since his childhood, though he has now become a Golden Ozaru who rampages around Planet Plant. Pan pleads with Goku to remember her and come to his senses, eventually succeeding, causing Goku to go through yet another dramatic transformation. So, Doug has brought something to show and tell, which I feel like we have to acknowledge. This giant Golden Ozaru Goku, which can I see his belly, please?
Are we sure that's Goku?
He's naked. Oh, I guess he could be Vegeta.
Spoilers.
He's not fat, so it's like it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Goku was a very fat Golden Ozaru.
Goku was a very fat one, and I'm like, I guess that's just how is that how they've always been drawn? And then when Baby later, I was like, well, no, he's got abs, so that's weird.
I think maybe because he's a kid. It's like but Goku as a kid isn't chubby. The Goku from Dragon Ball is chubby, yeah, but this one, I don't know.
You thought the Last House part of this episode, Ken, was going to be bad. I say it's the darn screeching.
You brought this up before last time.
I did.
I came up with my own headcanon explanation as to why that is to help through it. Hold
that thought, Ken. I know you're ready. You're ready to explode.
No. Doug is wavelengthing me.
Really? Okay. Goku. That is we are hearing what everyone in this besides Goku hears is the roar like that, because you can faintly hear that in the background of the screeching that Goku Ozaru does. That's just Goku internally. We're hearing inside Goku's head that screeching, and it's a very like kid. It's supposed to be like, oh, this crazy monster is a kid Ozaru. That's the kind of feeling it's giving off. I don't know if that's what you guys read, but
to me it was, I don't think some of the moments towards the end of this episode would have hit in the same way if we didn't hear Goku's like reaction sounds.
Yeah, they're more reactions instead of just roars.
Yeah.
Do we explain to the audience who maybe have not seen this what's going on, how Goku sounds?
So Goku just sounds like Nozawa making cat sounds.
Yes, 100% a cat. It is so off-putting and so weird of a choice, especially because Gohan, as a child turning into Ozaru, didn't have that at all, right?
Yeah, it was just a low roar
thing. Which is still here. It's like behind Nozawa's performance.
Yes, that's why I think it's just the real what everyone hears.
Yeah. It's not great, but
yeah,
I think having it in the latter parts of this episode, make the transformation hit harder, the emotional realization, and then even when he's in Ozaru's state, he says Pan. So I think to me, it's the least offensive thing. It's not the most offensive thing of this episode.
Okay. I would say I agree that hearing Nozawa for those parts later, gaining his reason back is good. we should have had some sort of other vocal filters or something where you could still tell it's her doing the voice.
Yeah.
But it sounded more large and monstrous.
The ratio was much more Nozawa than Monkey Roar. It should have been the other way around, or more Monkey Roar.
Yeah. We should have moved some knobs, change some sliders a little bit there.
I think it's more to signify that this is like a child monkey. Because if you laugh at it, it sounds like a cat. But if you really think about it, it does kind of sound like a young monkey. To me, at least.
Yeah.
It just gets annoying quick because it's like just constantly,
So we will need to pay attention to how they handle Vegeta's voice.
Right.
Later in the series.
Spoilers.
Well, he's an adult when he does it. Goku is a child.
But is it going to be like this? Or is it just going to be...
At that point,
because we've heard him talk as an Ozaru before. So is it going to be similar to what happened in the Saiyan
Vegeta
saga?
as a kid sounded like a freaking ape. So it's not like... it's going to sound any different.
I liked the point that like Baby brings up. He's like, oh man, this big dumb monkey thing. This is what killed my people. Like the Saiyans came, but they didn't wipe everybody out until the moon came out. And then this happened. I'm like, oh, that's a good point to like, make writers and Baby to be
empathize with Baby. That's what I was talking about before. Like, to get him on his side.
So I have actually been going through the timeline presented in the GT Perfect files.
Boy.
So if you guys will give me just a second here and vamp a little bit while I get this pulled up.
I love Ken's Perfect Files corner. Like
I can vent right now. This is a monumental moment for me specifically because this figure in my hand, this giant golden Uzaru, is a last one prize that they released in the States for purchase, and since then have been dozens, if not dozens. This is dozens of series of figures that they released that they never released the last one prize overseas. It was only exclusive to Japan until today. When we're discussing this episode, they are releasing the last one prize of Goku showing up to the 23rd Tenkaichi Budokai with like his umbrella and everything,
turban and everything.
With it off. They're selling the one with the turban on overseas already. That was a regular A prize. The special one you can only get in Japan was him just with it off and his hair and smiling and shit. I thought I would have to import that, but I don't. Today officially they are releasing it in America. They have not released a last one prize for years. And it's like this is the last guy that they did. So it's kind of a weird moment for me that we're talking about. We watched this episode with Golden Uzaru and I have the figure. It's
emotional.
Wild. Yeah, very. I love you, Mr. Satan.
So 238 years before age. So, think of BC and AD, right? Or as the children know it today, BCE and CE. So 238 years before age is when the first legendary Super Saiyan, the Super Saiyan of legend, appeared. Age 550 is when a spaceship full of primitive Saiyans lands on planet Plant. Okay. And then it is over the course of a few hundred years, the highly fertile primitive Saiyans evolve into an extraordinary race of intelligent beings. However, their bloodlust also grows. So over the course of about, I think, nearly 200 years, the Saiyans are... They're not the same people they were when they landed on planet Plant. And then the full moon uprising... And then it is over the course of approximately 10 years that the Saiyan Tsufruization conflict occurs.
And so which Vegeta is the one that conquers the planet?
It is his dad, the third.
Yeah, the third. Interesting. Thank you for that, Ken. It's always good to get that context and know what are we working with here,
Now, if you want to think about a Saiyan's lifespan, doesn't Vegeta say something until about 70 or 80?
I can't remember
when they start getting old.
That rings a bell, but it might have been a dub-ism.
It is possible that Vegeta's great-grandfather would have been one of the first Saiyans to land on planet Plant. Just going by presumed lifespans and the timeline we have here. But, of course... I'm no caramel mama, so I don't know.
Of course not.
So I just wanted to tell you a little bit of history behind that.
Thank you.
I love it.
I appreciate you telling me that. Just like I wish I could have had a Saiyan around to try and speak through why Goku's new form happened, or even just explain it in a stupid way. That would have been nice. But no, it was just Kaioshin going like, "Hey, that's a thing."
I had another Simmons moment this episode. I don't know if you guys caught it.
Let's hear it.
Baby says something along the lines of, "I need to hit him with something extra large," instead of just saying like huge or enormous.
Extra large. I need to supersize him, Goku.
Basically, yeah.
That's good.
Goku can breathe fire as a Golden Ozaru.
And change its direction.
Yeah.
Well, it makes me like, that also makes me think about just the whole, these dumb little things that make me think about the entire series in dumb ways that I'm not meant to think about. Is fire stronger than like ki blast? Because like a fire, you engulf that, you're fucking burning, and that sucks. But a ki blast, you kind of just get hit and you like brush it off or whatever. But burns, you know what I mean?
There's one time in the Saiyan arc where Vegeta throws a legit fireball at Goku and burns half of his gi away.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh.
Do they just have like an innate, like, are their bodies just that rigid where fire wouldn't really, they're fireproof bodies?
I did like, though, that they explicitly say because they shortened Goku's training is the reason why he doesn't have reason and can't control his power. I mean, I don't think it makes sense, but at least they said something.
I think that as maybe they were like, yeah, we were going to spend like 2 months training him to like in Ozaru form, and like, hey, get your senses back. It's like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But then things started getting real dire with Pan and the laxatives.
Kaioshin with his freaking timing is like, no, we got like a year, right?
Speaking of the laxatives, there's Pan. Pan protects her nightmare family. Like, they're still baby infused, but she's like, I gotta save them.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's what I'm talking about in that moment. There's no indicator that they're being controlled by baby really there, because they're not like, let's kill this little girl. They just let her. It's like they still care about her in that moment, I think.
Right.
It feels like.
Which is good. I mean, because Goku didn't want to kill Vegeta or anything. It's like, well, I got to figure something else out here.
So did they tell Pan about Ozaru, or was she just describing exactly what she saw?
That was also my thing. Like, that's my grandpa. I know it. I'm like, what? In any normal person's mind, you would like, your grandfather's dead.
Well,
all of a sudden you see a giant monkey, and you're like, that's my grandpa.
Is there ki she's feeling?
She's like, I can kind of tell that I can kind of that ki. I think that's my grandpa. Like, that's what she says.
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Like, that goes back to, we need to understand how this ki works. Is it like, I can tell that that's my grandfather's ki because of that's how strong he was, or is it like it's like a feeling, like an aura, that's Goku's aura specifically? Like, I still don't know. I haven't landed on one yet. The
other night when we were playing Mario Kart, there was the question going around, like, what old phrase in Dragon Ball do you still use, despite like it's not the dub might use something, or even maybe Kanzenshu proper uses Great Ape. But to me, it's always going to be Ozaru. Like, that's the word. That's the thing I'm thinking of. Is because I just noticed in all of our things we have written here and how we've been talking about it, we're saying Ozaru. We're not just saying Great Ape, which is what Pan says. And of course, Ozaru also means like literally giant monkey. Monkey, I'm just thinking, like, did she know what she was looking at, or was she just describing what she saw?
Because aren't these things like not even, they don't exist. Like, it's a combination of like a monkey and an ape. Like, this is what an ape looks like, but apes don't have tails like that. That's monkeys. So it's like a combination.
Or long muzzles like that.
Yeah. So it's like it's its own thing. So I'm fine with calling it giant monkey Ozaru.
Did you guys notice the Elder Kaioshin getting a promotion in this episode?
A promotion?
Yeah. And I only bring this up because I'm on a mission to predict every question Zenpai could have in trivia. So, Kibito Kaioshin, or Kibito Shin, he calls the Elder Kaioshin Dai Kaioshin, which is, of course, the title held by the Kaioshin that Buu absorbs.
Yeah.
The fat one.
Oh, wow, really? Yeah. Okay. There is that. I guess so. We'll never hear about it again.
So
that was
please, minus points for Zenpai.
I thought it was,
could be. I thought his whole thing was like Rao Dai Kaioshin, but
no, just Rao Kaioshin. Rao meaning elder Kaioshin,
right? Okay,
or 15 generations previous, or something like that.
This also
East Kaioshin, 15 generations prior.
This also dumb thing popped in my head when I was reading the subtitles of the episode where Baby is like, he's annoying as a fly, and I'm like, don't you mean annoying as a buku jutsu? Like, it was like, yeah.
Where's you? Why don't you, on that stream deck of all of these sound effects you could have, you don't have like a badum-tsh?
I know. I really got to put something in there. I got to get better at this. Make me a list, because there's a bunch of stuff I got to add.
We need a Steam Deck for Randy's Steam Deck.
Speaking of things reading the subtitles, when they're like, there is a way to turn him back to normal, my first reaction was, blow up the earth.
That's true.
But then of course they're like, oh,
before.
They're like, okay, we'll get some big scissors and we'll cut it off of my first shaft. Like, blow up home. That sounds great. I was hoping.
I am glad that Elder Kaioshin, he is the one like with the most sense, where he's like, we can cut off his tail, and then the Kaioshin's like, oh, okay, and then gets scissors, and he's like, no, you idiot, we didn't go through all this bullshit for us to just cut it off. It's a last resort type thing. Like, it did seem kind of hasty of Kaioshin to go and do that.
I mean, he's reactionary. He doesn't ever think up any ideas on his own.
It's the Kibito in him.
It's the Kaioshin.
The Goku stuff towards the end of this episode reminded me a lot of Gohan in Z Movie 3, the Tullus movie. Towards the end, when
like, laying down and like with his feet kicking up.
Yeah, when Higher Dragon shows up, and
Higher Dragon.
Yeah, it starts like Goku was already starting to soften like that in his Ozaru form. Even when he pushes Pan away, he just kind of like boop, and it doesn't even like flicker or something or swat her. It's just more gentle, and then like get out of here. I love that when Baby saw this form, he's immediately like, I got to figure out how to do that too.
And I was like, I couldn't remember the sequence of events, and I'm like, does he go and do that here? Are we getting like a giant monkey kaiju battle? Because that's what I want to see.
Oh, yeah, we don't get that. No. Well, he was more curious, like, he can do it, why can't I? So it's like, or like, how did he activate that if I'm the same, I have the same body? Yeah, it's weird. It makes sense.
This brings us to the most offensive thing in this episode, which I'm sure you guys will agree, and everyone listening and watching will agree as well.
Yeah.
When they show a flashback of the 28th Tenkaichi Budokai, they show Goku wearing not his gi from the 28th Tenkaichi Budokai, but his gi from GT.
The yellow pants?
I didn't notice.
They only show him from the his top up, but he's got pink armbands and his blue upper gi.
Is it not blue in the end of Z?
At the end of Z,
should be a teal.
It's like and
it's
like
orange
a light,
armbands.
Well, it's
hold on. I got to figure.
Like I think it looks teal because of the way the Dragon Box is, but I think it's
fair.
A light blue top, orange armbands, dark green pants, and orange like wraps around where his shoes are. Yeah, so it's more of a light blue. Doug is showing the Matchmaker's End of Z Goku figure, which pairs with the Oob figure, which I also have pre-ordered, but I did not order straight from Japan like Doug did. So
you paid 3 times the price, you sucker. But you also didn't buy 20 of them to counterbalance that. Yeah. We can move on.
Yeah.
Was the beach stuff and things, I wasn't paying attention in the moment, but afterwards I was like, wait a minute, was that drawn by a different animation team? Because I felt like that looked like it was drawn way better.
The photograph was so weird. The photograph appears to have been drawn by Nakatsuru. It looks like him.
Definitely not Last House.
Definitely not Last House, who did handle the beach scene itself.
Okay.
It's just so great. Like, it's like a self-realization. Like, we need this to hit, so let's get a better artist on this photograph.
Good call.
The moment between Pan and Goku in that flashback where she says it's so salty and Goku says it's because everyone pees in it is such like the most genuine. That's a thing a grandpa would say to his grandchild.
Absolutely.
That is the only time that I can think of that we have seen him actually saying a grandpa line to someone.
Yeah. Fitting the role. That's so great.
Yeah, it's the corny kind of grandpa thing, yeah.
So
did it sit right with you guys? Where are you going with this, Randy? I'm sorry.
No, you go for it, because it's probably going to be a different thing.
I'm sorry. Well, did it sit right with you guys that Pan had this old gi of hers in her backpack the entire time or whatever, and like actually secretly cares about her grandfather? Like, I wanted to buy that.
I think it's something she grabbed when she was getting ready to go to this planet.
Stuff.
Oh, she didn't have it the entire time from episode 1
so.
onwards. Okay.
I think she grabbed it on her way in case things had to go down and she needed to put on a gi.
Well, she's not going to fit in that. It's when she was a little girl.
Tailors exist. We know for a fact tailors exist in the dragon world. So
then she should have put it on. She should have put it on to help remind Goku more. Like, why just showing a giant monkey like this cloth isn't going to do anything.
Well, you're not going to strip down and put something on and be like, hold on, giant monkey, give me 2 seconds.
Not strip down. She could have I don't know.
There wasn't a lot of time for that, yeah.
Yeah. I thought it was cute to have it. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But Doug brings up a good question. Like, maybe I don't necessarily buy it that that's something she carries with her all the time, but I want to, because it makes it seem real nice.
Because like all the jerkiness she's had, like being a jerk to Goku this entire time, she really does love him and appreciate what he maybe that's she's mad at the situation that Goku is a child again. It's like, you're supposed to be this like amazing grandfather figure of mine, and this memory I have of you, I miss it. Maybe I like that idea, actually. I just thought of that. I like that.
This is the most emotional batch of episodes that we have reviewed.
Yeah.
And this between Pan and Goku, again, is no exception. I think it's like borderline watery eyes, you know?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I just wish it wasn't Last House that animated it. Dang it.
Yeah, man.
They gotta, unfortunately, they're on the team and they have to do some episodes, and it's just going to be that they get to do some of the important ones.
It's this episode and the episode where Trunks goes back to the future and to kill his androids and Cell. Like,
everything else I forgive.
So much better. Yeah, everything else is fine. Like, okay, fine. Because they have good like motion. That artist team, they have good like motion with like fight scenes.
Oh yeah, the actual animation is good. The art, I think, is bad.
The art is bad.
I would say anytime O'Hara is doing the animation, I think it's good. But if it's Uchiyama doing the animation, no, it's
right. Speaking of art and animation, I don't like that the Earth turns red during like the transformation into when he's reverting down into his next form. Like, that happens. I'm like, I guess that's cool looking, but why?
I told you, it's a reflection of the Saya power. Remember, it's a direct connection to the color red.
So, oh, okay.
That's what it is, yeah. Or, like, from this point onward, it's fuck logic. Whatever looks cool is what we're going with, because that's what Super Saiyan 4 is.
True.
Pan even says it.
Overall thoughts this episode, I'm glad we moved through this whole thing pretty quick. Not a lot happened, but good to see Pan just going for things and being the one to bring Goku to his senses by pushing him in the direction he needed. I also like the whole Tsufruian v Ozaru thing being brought back up. I guess I just felt like it was just a lot of rampaging around. Like, we're not really doing anything other than showing volcanoes explode, I guess.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts? Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
It's just another Last House episode. But still emotional and still works.
I feel like the Ozaru thing could have been shrunken down more, actually. It's one of those things, but
then you would have had more
other stuff out.
You would have had more Last House Super Saiyan 4 then.
No. Like the before stuff, like the Oob stuff. You could have stretched this out, and then
we have some Last House Super Saiyan 4 ahead of us.
Oh,
and there's one shot in particular I'm thinking of. It is atrocious. Probably like the single worst drawn frame in all of Dragon Ball.
Well, even in this episode alone, we got Super Saiyan 4, right? And it's, I think they did a good job with it. Like, it looks bad because it's Last House, but with what they have, like the transformation from Giant Ozaru to Super Saiyan 4, like it's like so creepy and cool in a way. It makes me think: was he a giant Golden Ozaru and then turning into a giant Super Saiyan 4, or was he a tiny Golden Ozaru turning into a regular size Super Saiyan 4?
These are the questions that we need answers for.
I think O'Hara did that, so it would make sense that it looks a little more fluid.
So, Ken, do you want to take us through episode 35 here?
The mightiest. Goku becomes Super Saiyan 4. Baby retreats to find out how to defeat the rampaging Goku, unaware that the Saiyan has evolved into something wholly new, Super Saiyan 4. Goku, now in an adult body brimming with new power, sets off to face Baby again and put him in his place. Goku clearly has the upper hand before Bulma, tasked with giving Baby the power to be victorious, fires her Brute's wave machine to force the Vegeta-clad Baby to transform into a golden Ozaru. Against his consent, which was hilarious, and I loved it.
Which is great. I don't remember that. Like, for my first rewatch, it's like, yeah. He says, Bulma, like no.
Yeah.
He sets out. He's like, I need you to give me that power. And then the last thing he's like, I don't want to be a big gross monkey, though.
Yeah, he's like, I might lose my mind.
Yeah, he doesn't lose his mind. He's like, let's wait. Let's think about this. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's still so like quintessentially Bulma in that moment of her taking charge like she did during the original Dragon Ball arc. There's even some like shades of her behavior on Namek. So I think there's just so much to enjoy about evil Bulma here, just being like, screw it and firing the thing at Baby.
I didn't think about that. Best. I like that. I didn't think about that, but I was thinking more like all these Tsufruians are like mind controlled to think as Baby as a god. So in Bulma's mind, it could be like, no, you're a god. You can handle this. She has no doubt in her mind that he'll be able to handle this power and have his senses with him. So it's like, you got it. And that was my rationale. But I like your also. It's that combined with like the Bulma-ness of her and just like taking charge.
All right, guys, let's go, man. This. Ken, what are you doing?
I was trying to imitate the transformation,
the holding
acid
the hand
trip
out against
that Goku goes on, the Vision quest.
Ken, I learned something about you last night. While we were chatting, and I know that you're probably going to be against this, but this entire transformation thing with like the holding the hand up and then like the glow in his eye and then like the tear fall, I'm like, this feels like it should be timed to a vocal insert song, and it's just a beautiful instrumentation of Don Don. But I'm like, this feels like it should have had an insert song, and it's so odd to not have something here. That's what I.
So for context, Randy is putting me on blast because last night in private company, I said that I'm not really a fan of insert songs. There's some exceptions. I liked the one from Super, like the one time, the first time it was used, not the 19 times after that.
The 19 times, yeah.
But beyond that, and I like the Trunks. Whoa, whoa,
that's
whoa,
exactly what I was saying, the Trunks one. Whoa,
and I like it because it's so freaking stupid and over the top.
It does feel out of nowhere almost.
I think it's hilarious. Because I don't think it fits the moment like most insert songs to me, but this comes back around and I think it's so funny. So that's what Randy's talking about.
Sorry to put you on blast.
The Don Don whatever re-instrumental of it was really good. I
loved it. Yeah, it was great. Fantastic stuff.
Super good. Goku is now in his new form. He looks so freaking cool, and
he's stoic. Goku
Pan even
again
says so. Yeah,
right.
We haven't seen an adult Goku in a while.
Well, but this is Goku when he comes back to fight Vegeta and Nappa. This is Goku when he shows up to fight Buddha and J's. This is like the Dragon Ball Z. I'm back. You've waited for me, and I'm here.
Yeah,
this is the Goku. Yeah,
it's time for you to get your comeuppance, basically.
Yeah, and it's just he's all just talking very calmly the entire time.
Yeah, how great is that?
God, it's so good.
I like even that. Yeah, he's transformed and now he's like got all of his senses back. But like the first thing he does is like go into the city and like take a look around and like the glass shatters and everything. And he's just checking out the damage and he's like, I don't remember doing any of this. Just like, yeah, man. Being a big monkey's a trip, isn't it?
Well, it is great that at first you don't know, like you're just like Pan, like does he have his senses with him? Like are you what did she say? Like, are you my grandpa or something like that? And then he's like he goes from a frown to a smile and it's like, we're good.
Yeah.
He's Goku.
Mr. Satan like tickling Goku's fur.
And then Goku's like, stop being gay, and then walks away. Like, chill, Goku.
I love Pan being with her two grandpas.
Yeah, that's so good.
It's like these two very important figures in her life, right? That she really, it seems like she respects
in two different places.
Yeah.
You know, power-wise. Like, Mr. Satan, completely helpless in this whole situation. Goku, the one to save the day.
But it still feels like someone, they're each she can depend on each one.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying. Despite that, they're both just a couple of grandpas together.
Yeah.
I love how stoic Goku is here, in contrast to how goofy he'll get in this form later on in the series. He's like eating Dragon Balls and doing all sorts of weird stuff.
That's true.
My first introduction to Super Saiyan 4 Goku was playing Final Bout for the PlayStation 1 back in like summer 99. Had no idea what this whole show was going to be about after that because I'd only seen up through, Raccoon. But for whatever reason, like this whole stoic thing and like how he's always like his posture and everything, I'm like, this guy never like gets loose and like does neat poses or anything dynamic with his body. It's always like very stiff, like a PlayStation 1 model. And that's just my complaint about this. And maybe things, like you say, he gets goofier later, but Super Saiyan 4 looks cool, but to the extreme where it's like, he feels like he can't even do anything. He can only stand up straight and be intimidating.
I was surprised right off the bat by how much I thought he felt like Ultra Instinct Goku. And just that he's like extremely calm.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I can see that. I mean, it's just like him, the confidence that he's instilling in us as the viewer. Like, oh, this is the Goku we know, and everything. We can feel safe now. As Trunks does back in the day, the future Trunks, just Goku's presence alone makes you feel safe. We have this Goku back.
When we were talking big picture, not too up on these 4 episodes as much as we thought we would be, but this episode, like hell yeah, dude. I mean, even if we needed another episode of this, we made it to Super Saiyan 4, right? We're over halfway through the series now. We're at Super Saiyan 4.
Wow.
And we're going to carry this through the rest of the series, and gotta love it.
I kind of like that we don't have to depend on new forms. Like it's just, well, I guess kind of, but it's just this one. This one is the peak of this series, and it looks so freaking cool. I can't, like, going into it, I'm thinking like, man, what it must have been for new audiences with no preconceived notion of what Super Saiyan 4 would look like if they didn't see the intro, just to like see this form and like just be like, whoa. And as I'm watching it, even knowing what it looks like, seeing it again for the first time, it looks so cool, especially in this episode, man. When he looks at the glass and then it cracks, so good.
I don't understand, at least where we're at right now, and the past string of several episodes that we've watched, I just am not at the point yet where I'm able to easily believe why the show ended after 64 episodes. Because it's like, this is such a high, this episode.
Yeah.
That like, is it really going to stumble and fall that hard going forward?
Right.
I don't know.
Remains to be seen.
Maybe they couldn't think of more merchandise to make. Like, they didn't want to make another form, so they're just like, I guess we got to end it around here.
I mean, we get a fusion later, which is, and another transformation for somebody else, but I know this is like the episode after the Golden Ozaru thing, which I think is kind of weird for timing wise, but I like that, for people who maybe jumped into this series after Frieza or anything like that, probably like, why did he turn into a monkey? Like, we at least get like Baby talking to Bulma, who's like going over like, okay, here's how Brutes Waves works, and this is why he turned into a monkey. Like, oh, okay, that's cool. Good to
the science of it all.
So just to get some senpai stuff out of the way, Brutes Waves over 17,000 Zeno during a full moon is what will trigger a Saiyan transformation. And in Goku's case, we had 17,925 Zeno being read from Bulma coming off of the Earth.
So you think that more
question comes up.
Is it a frequency that it is, or is it a quantity of absorption to trigger that?
There is a guidebook entry on this, but I don't know off the top of my head.
Okay. That's fine. I liked the stare down. Like Goku shows up to Baby's house. Is like, I'm here to do this, but then sees Bulma and like calls out to her, and man, she is just cold to that dude. And that's
super freaking evil. And the shit-eating grin that Baby has in regards to that is like, oh man.
That hurts, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It hits so hard because that's Goku's oldest friend.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. It's rough.
I wish they did a better job at nailing that home for me, but yeah, you look at it. It's hard for me to like step away and like appreciate that. I'm like dumb brain when I watch this kind of stuff, so sometimes I wanted to spell it out for me, like, or make it like nicer, like have a little flashback or something. But no, just
from that first Dragon Ball hunt, we're like, oh, we've been around, we've been in this together for a long time.
Or like him look at her, be like, Bulma, and then like maybe look at Baby, like, you're gonna pay for this or something. I don't think he did that, right? He just stayed stoic.
Yeah. He's not.
That's
he's
okay.
Gotta waste words.
Right. He's there to kick ass, and that's what he does. Goes in to fight him.
That transition though, from like inside to then all of a sudden outside fighting. I think there was a scene missing, just one little scene, and maybe them being pushed. Like, I don't know. It might have been intentional of that artistic choice of like, and now they're out here fighting, but it just kind of felt a little too sudden.
It would have been more exciting if they were fighting in that lab, just for something different.
Is this the third or fourth time that Baby has used the revenge death ball?
He loves that thing, man.
Yeah.
Can't get enough of it.
He has so much revenge to use. Does that suck up energy from his followers?
Yes. Yeah, we do see... Yes. I don't know if it was here or when he uses it before in this set of episodes. Yeah, you do see everyone like hunched over and the hatred energy coming off of them.
And their hand movements are like more like this. It was really weird. Instead of just like, like that, it was really like, it's like, okay.
I do like that, they start this fight, and every time for this entire arc that Baby is fighting somebody, like, he's just winning, and it's just whatever. And it's like, okay, well, they're toe to toe now, and like, even Kaioshin is like oh man,
his power.
He's still not going to win. And then old Kaioshin is like, he's not even using a fraction of it, man. Don't worry about it. And then just cut back to Goku, who's just like, your punches are tickling me. Like,
yep.
That's good. And then he just tanks that revenge death ball. It's like, you could have at least made it look like you tried to get away, Goku.
It almost looked like the way it was drawn and shot. It looked like he was going to do the Gohan against Cell, like, Kamehameha to blast it out. Like, he's staring at it. It looks so good, though. I love this episode.
Goku uses Shockwave for the first time in forever.
Yeah, he's like, let me show you how to use ki correctly.
Boom.
And then just boom.
There's
cool an AMV to this episode that I've seen so many times, and it's just so good. And the way the artists of that AMV cut the punches to the song, I don't know what song. It's a rock song. I appreciate rock now because of these AMVs. I'm more of a hip hop person, but it's like, you live and you learn, like it's like Goku punching Baby. It's so good. If anyone remembers that, let me know.
I wish in this fight, like, Goku is now, he's taken on Baby, no problem. I wish there was more battle damage to Baby's look or outfit, because it looks like he gets some bruising like on his face, but like, I don't know, tear some stuff here or there to make it look like, oh yeah, he's really getting the crap beat out of him.
Like, I think that's when I first noticed some battle damage on him, was when he was fighting the Golden Ozaru Goku. Like, he was covered in rubble, and like he had bloody like nipples, and it was like, oh, he has some battle damage on him. That's cool. But yeah, maybe like a torn off one of those things. Like, it could have just made itself when he trans into Golden Ozaru. Like, this is their chance to show a battle damaged Baby.
Yeah.
This set of episodes is when I was starting to jive with GT's soundtrack. I felt they were starting to use it correctly. And then, of course, we get the Dan Dan orchestral version.
Yeah.
There is a edit someone did on the r/DBZ of the fight in this episode where they set it to Kikuchi music. Mm-hmm. And if you have not seen that yet, you have got to check it out.
Oh my God, please send it to me.
I think Tyson did that.
No, I think it was someone else.
I thought he did it. Or maybe he just shared it. Either way.
Unfortunate part of it is that it has to be set to the dub.
Yes.
That's fine.
Because how it works. And, they don't have a split music and effects track in the Japanese one. But for the 5.1 English dub, there is a separation because one channel is used for dialogue, the rest is used for music. So you can easily remove the vocal or like the dialogue, but it's like, well, you can replace the music now, but it's all you've got is the English clean dialogue. But yeah, it's still so cool. I wish that was how it was. Bring back Kikuchi, even though the soundtrack is starting to get a bit better utilized.
I felt like a million things happened in this episode.
Right?
Even though when I actually think about what happened, it not really. But at the end of the episode, Goku, I was like, God, just so much stuff happened.
What do you think about that line where Baby says that he doesn't feel any damage that's happening here? It's just all Vegeta is going to be the one that's feeling it.
That made me think, too. That was interesting.
I like it because it shows that Baby still doesn't get it.
Yeah.
Goku was going to kill his own children because they had the flu. And
I do like Goku's rebuttal to that, though. It's just like you don't feel anything yet because I haven't hit you that hard. Vegeta could take these hits or whatever. He says something that in those lines. It's cool.
So we talked about it before, but the non-consensual brutes wavings occurs at the end. Not only did he turn into a golden Ozaru right off the bat, it also changed his outfit from yellow and green to green and red, and I don't like that. I get it. Like, the yellow wouldn't have looked good on yellow, but like if you look at it, his like jacket and boots and stuff changed from being yellow to a lime green.
Hey man, Brutes Wave are a mysterious thing. We don't know how it works.
For which character?
For Baby.
Oh, for Baby? Oh, when he transforms. Okay. Yes. I did not notice that, no.
Yeah. I mean, I just have overall thoughts left for this episode. You just want to jump into that? You got anything else you want to say?
I just wanted to say, how I wish this Super Saiyan 4 form was the actual legendary Super Saiyan form, because it does feel that appropriate, where it just feels everything's just so full circle with, this is just a form that he reached by mastering his Saiyan heritage of being a giant ape or whatever, and just engulfing it into that. It would have been really cool to have that.
Super Saiyan 4 is the wrong moniker for this form.
Yes. Yeah.
Especially now with Super Saiyan Blue and God and everything out there now, definitely.
Super Saiyan Fur.
Well, if anything... Ooh, that's a good one.
Where's that button?
Super Ozaru 2. That's what I would want it to be called.
Super Ozaru, get out of here.
I mean, why not? Because he turns into Golden Ozaru. It's like a Super Saiyan version. And then when he gets his reason back...
surpassed beyond a Golden Ozaru.
Now he's got his reason, and he's got all that power condensed into a smaller, more compact body, and he's like furry. He's still just like an animal, like a monkey. So and it's a Super Saiyan. So I guess he is a Saiyan, but
Super Saiyan Primal.
Ooh,
that's the way to go.
That's a
there
thing.
We go. You've got some good branding ideas.
It's in Dragon Ball Superheroes, I think. In Dragon Ball Superheroes, they have the Super Saiyan 4 form with red hair.
It's
like Limit Breaker.
Yeah.
Oh wow,
Super Saiyan 4 Limit
Jesus. Breaker. I just know they have a figure of it, and that's all I know.
No, it's a thing. Super Saiyan 4 looks rad as hell. Good to see Baby finally getting overtaken. I wish we had more of showing how strong Goku is in this form. I don't know. Like I said, show some battle damage on Baby. Have him do a big Kamehameha that fucking blows up a galaxy. I don't know. But I like the exchange with
stuff for later.
I suppose we'll see. Yeah. I like the exchange with Bulma. Baby apprehensive about turning into a wild, ugly ape. That's funny. I like it. It's good stuff. This is a good episode.
Yeah, agreed. And it helps that it looks incredible.
Oh yeah. It's good stuff.
The next episode is Yamamuro, though, so we'll see Incredible next.
So, that's... Guys, we did it. I'm not sure if everybody else out there knows. We started this to be like, you know what? I miss Kanzenshu's podcast, GT Review of Awesomeness. And with this, we're caught up now. So what are you going to do, Mike? What are you going to do? I would love to be proven wrong that that you're done with it. Bring it back.
Brady's one-sided battle. He will never let go. Mike's like, okay.
This is the hill I choose to die on. Give me more of it.
Oh, Doug, I think magic can happen in this world.
Hey, wow. Is that a secret?
So we're coming for you. Let's see what you do. Let's see your next move, Mike crew.
We already came at him. You come at him every Saturday.
All right, so we'd like to announce a special guest. Next episode is Jeff joining us on here.
And Mary. Jeff and Mary are here.
Not Mike.
But no Mike.
He has to listen to it on his walks.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break here, and we're going to come back, and we're going to go over your thoughts on Super Saiyan 4 and some trivia and some good stuff. So sit tight. Hey, we're back. Ken had to pull. He's being very.
Randy, it's an audio
sneaky.
podcast. Yeah. You have to talk while he does that.
Well, I wasn't sure if he was going to say something or make a noise with his morpher, but Ken had to have his morpher up close and then very sneakily moved it away, as if he was going to get away with something. But no, he just made it awkward. Which
he made it, whatever. Go ahead, Randy.
Doug spends these entire podcasts holding up a toy in front of his camera, and we just roll with it. I hold up a morpher, and it stops the show.
And stop the press.
Yeah, it's called a double standard. Get used to it. So
I don't know how, but this is racist.
We put out a Zeet.
Good. Keep going.
You got a problem with White Rangers, Randy?
We put out a Zeet and a Bisky at saying, hey, we made it to Super Saiyan 4. What are your thoughts on this form, how we got to it, the transformation itself, and its legacy, or any other thoughts about this set of episodes? So, Ken, why don't you tell us what Cage had to say?
Yeah, Cage says, first of all, he jumps in and says, I gotta ignore Super Saiyan 4 this week because I need to call attention to the tragedy of Oob. He got so much fanfare when he showed up and got a really cool transformation only to throw like 3 punches and lose a beam struggle. What did my boy do to deserve this? And I agree.
Yeah. He got done dirty.
That. He really did.
He needed another episode of throwing punches and losing beam struggles.
They put him out of his misery. This was a kindness.
He did get that really cool shot of, I forget if it was the first, I think before the Boo absorption, where he like brings his hand back to like fire like a one-handed blast, and it's shot from behind him. It looks, you guys know what I'm talking about or not? Because it looks so good. It's just like the, and then you feel the momentum of him bringing it back and then shooting it forward. I just wanted to point that out because it was such a great shot.
I liked it.
More of that.
I'll find it when I edit the episode.
Please. More Oob. Please. Next up, we have T. Hallams, or friend of the show, Tyson, says, the shot of Goku looking into the glass as it shatters is, in my opinion, one of the best / coolest shots in the history of Dragon Ball's animes. So sick. Tight is what he had
The way
to
you
say.
need to read that is tight. See, Randy, if you just watch Breaking Bad.
Randy doesn't see Breaking Bad, so he doesn't understand what that's from.
I don't like that anime. I'm not going to finish it.
It's such a good show.
But yes.
It is a great shot. Do you think the glass just shatters?
Who thought of that? Like, who thought to make that scene like that? They deserve all their creativity awards from that episode. It was so great.
Do you think it just happens to shatter after all the damage has been done, or does it shatter because he looked at it?
Because it was so scared of Goku.
I think it shattered just because it was cool.
Just because it was tight, or whatever the hell it is.
Goku just has so much like ki. What is the word?
Radiating
from his body that like when he looked at it, it like he accidentally let like a little and it just shattered.
Maybe. Ki
could be
eyes. I think.
Ki eyes.
Marker Rico says, I honestly don't understand the hate for Super Saiyan 4's design. I've always loved the idea of it being tied to the Ozaru transformation, and the overall design is solid. Yeah, it's great. On all accounts.
I don't know who's out here.
Super hot take, apparently.
Yeah, who's out here saying it's bad?
Yeah, I don't think
show
anyone
them
is
to
saying
me.
it's bad.
The super squad out here with their blue hairs.
I don't want to talk to those people. We can't be friends if you don't think that Super Saiyan 4 looks cool.
The common consensus is more that like Super Saiyan 4 is awesome, but GT is bad. Like that's the common thing.
And even as we go, I'm disagreeing with the latter part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. Disdat Steven says, one of it, if not my favorite forms. It's creative and ties in with the original idea of a Saiyan into a great ape. I mean, we haven't gotten a lot of big monkeys part of the Saiyan thing since, the Saiyan arc. It's always been, they're golden-haired people. That's all that they are.
And it's used so great in that Saiyan arc to show Goku that, he was the monster. And like, it does really feel that Toei, when making GT, was like, let's just rewatch the series and see what we can use from here. Let's reuse the Oolong story. Let's do this, and let's bring back Uzaru. That was one of their better ideas, is to bring back this form in it. Yeah. The dumbest way, by using pliers to pull out Goku's tail, but still, any way you can make it happen, I'm glad they did.
Yeah, same here.
Friend of the show, Tomes of Evil Podcast Network, says Super Saiyan 4 is so effing cool. It's a little silly how it comes to be, and don't get me started on the pants, but the end result is still one of my favorites. I also love how in SS4, both Schemmel and Nozawa give a subdued performance. Adds to the cool factor.
Yeah. Have you heard it dubbed, Ken?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a subdued performance from Sean Schemmel.
Really?
He just sounds angry.
I guess so, yeah.
I mean, I guess I haven't seen it this episode, but stuff that I've seen later, it's, I'm Goku. Hey guys, I'm Goku.
But it is, Nozawa giving a really great, like, calm, cool performance rather than
to play adult Goku again.
Right? I think that's also why it's so strange, because we haven't heard adult Goku, despite hearing her voice for so much of the show as different people. It's like, that one's different.
We didn't bring up how he got his pants back, and like, is this just like how he's an adult now because of this form? Is it like it's like the Matrix, where like it's a self imaged body of himself, like what he would imagine, and luckily it's clothed as well?
It's the same reason the glass breaks, because it's cool.
No, we can't. Damn it, it's all tied together. Dang it. Where's that guidebook?
We'll find it one of these days. Saban, shouts out to Saban, who got back to us and said, here's how you pronounce my name. I'm glad that I can fix that. So,
please,
Saban says, Super Saiyan 4 is my favorite form in the franchise. The design and overall feel of it are simply perfect, in my opinion. The concept of controlling the Ozaru to end up with 4 was really cool, and the initial transformation sequence could not have been better. He's a pretty cool guy.
Feel? What is he, Mr. Satan? He's feeling up the fur? How does he know how it feels?
Man, like, sorry. I was just going to, continue to agree. 4 looks cool, and I really like tying it to Ozaru. And the transformation, I know we talked about, like, Last House kind of being bad. I liked the sort of Animorphs style shrinking down from Big Ape to Super Saiyan 4, where
even just like the sequence itself was so different from Dragon Ball, where it was very like somber and emotional. Like there's no bad guy in front of him doing it. It's his internal struggle of becoming this. And Pan is like, what I imagine that scene of like Goku looking at the Earth, but it's shot from Pan's point of view, where like you just see the Goku's back, and it just felt so different to me in a nice way. I liked it.
Was this the first time we have somebody achieving a new Super Saiyan level not in front of the bad guy? Because Baby's not there. Like, he just, and now I've got a new form.
Yep. Yeah.
It's going to be a surprise.
Figure out. Yeah, I think so. Well,
I mean, other than
reach Super Saiyan 3 off camera, but
the first time we're seeing it, Well, I guess Trunks in the Trunks special. Nobody was around, but.
Yeah, but it's different. Just the internal struggle. It's really nice to have one like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Friend of the show Connor writes in, it's hella cool, definitely a highlight from GT, and there's a reason why it stayed for so long in terms of fans talking about it and merch/advertising. Yeah, it's important to talk about how GT ended in 97, but you wouldn't know it.
No.
Do you think it would have stayed in people's memory if it wasn't for this form? Because I don't think without the merchandise of Super Saiyan 4 and just the longevity of that, none of this had enough sticking power to stay in people's minds. It would have been just another like a movie. We would have thought of this as just a long movie that always was.
I can't even separate it out in my mind. I mean, it happened, so
GT,
it was, and it is.
Form. Yeah.
I mean, we don't have a bunch of merch out here that you can go buy. Like, you want this T-shirt with false Super Saiyan on it, like from Lord Slug movie?
I do. That would be great.
Exist. It does exist. Not in my size, but
they're not like, oh, new character added to Xenoverse 2, false Super Saiyan. And they said it that way.
Tenkaichi 3 was getting there, man. I don't know what or whatever that game was that had a billion characters.
The good stuff. So now's Doug's favorite time. Trivia.
Ice cream break? Oh, man.
No ice cream this time. So we've got this long running thing where we've got trivia coming in from friend of the show, Zenpai. Super cool dude. Very knowledgeable. He's writing these trivia points. And these boys are trying to get the answer right. They're going to say ding. They're going to raise their hand. They're going to try and get the answer. If they get stumped, Zenpai gets a point, and nobody's keeping track of this. Zenpai's going to get a point, but also he can lose points if his question is already covered in the discussion we had earlier. So.
And Ken's doing his damnedest to make sure nothing goes.
Ken is out here to shove Zenpai underground.
Look,
like
Zenpai challenges me, I challenge Zenpai. It's the circle of life.
It's true. So, question number 1. Get your hands on your buzzers. What was printed on Elder Kaioshin's coffee mug? Oh, Ken.
His face.
His own
true.
Face.
It was
I remember
his
that.
own face.
And
Doug,
I almost talked about it.
You were waiting
Doug,
for that.
I appreciate that your buzzer is lifting the golden Ozaru severed tail.
It doesn't connect. Yeah, you love it. It doesn't connect that well. So it's gonna, it just falls off, but I don't know.
That's what happens when you got a loose booty hole. Anyway, question 2. What ability did Kibito Shin forget he had in episode 32?
What ability did he forget he had? Like
he doesn't say.
Yeah.
No.
He can conjure stuff.
Yes, exactly. He can conjure things out of thin air, yet he had to ask Suguro to turn into a pair of pliers.
Which is where did you get the binoculars? They don't have anything on there. They don't have pliers, but they have binoculars to make sure they can see Goku from far away.
Now, can I get a bonus point here and say what are some of the stuff that he has conjured?
Sure, let's hear it.
Conjures Gohan's gi. He conjures the Kachin steel.
Yeah.
And maybe something else. I don't know.
I was going to say, you got any more on that list?
Some food, some coffee.
Well, no, Goku made the coffee. Somebody had to make the coffee maker, or like the coffee grinder.
That was Sugoro's dad, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Suhaha Ro.
Suha.
So, question 3. In episode 32, which previously named character did the writers forget had already been named?
Wait, can you read that again?
Yeah, what?
In episode 32, which previously named character did the writers forget had already been named?
Like they gave them a new name because they forgot that they had a name already?
Right.
You know the answer, Randy, because I'm seeing you the answer. Like, do you?
Yeah, I'm reading the answer and I'm trying to parse it at the same time. I don't read these things ahead of time. So
okay.
I'm learning right alongside
But I mean, if you saw that it was
Oh.
snow, you would know that snow was not.
I think we talked about this. Kibito Kaioshin?
No.
Oh, the Dai Kaioshin or whatever?
No. Because we talked about it. You said that they call him Kibito in this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
And in
This
the
is not
last
what his
episode,
answer
it was
is.
Kibito Kaioshin.
But this
Right.
is not his answer? This is not it?
This is something where they say that person or that character, but they're like, that character has a name.
Oh.
You could have said the name.
Not Boo. This is not the first time they called him Mr. Boo, is it?
No.
Also,
So,
is he
okay.
Mr. Boo because of Mr. Satan? Like, did he take the Mr.
I've
from
never
Mr.
thought
like,
about
is that your first name? Like, so he thinks that's the first name. He's like, I'm gonna call myself Mr. as well.
I always just thought it's because he's nice, and nice
Right.
people are
That's
like,
just a way to
Mr. whatever."
differentiate him. But no, maybe because Mr. Satan.
So what's the answer?
cute.
The answer that Zenpai says is B. Boo just calls him that puppy that got killed, even though he has a name.
He does call him like that puppy in that flashback, and it was really weird that you didn't just call him B. Oh, so that's
Yeah.
Senpai's thing, is that like he didn't use his name, the dog's
Right.
name?
Yeah, yes. But I also see why they just said that puppy. Because, again, if I'm in Japan in 1997, it's been a long time since that episode aired.
Long time.
It's like 2 years.
You'd be like, since Bay got shot, and I'd be like,
Who the hell is Bay?
Who?
Mm-hmm.
And because he's the way he talks is simple, he wouldn't be like, my dog B. Like, he wouldn't, like, do a complete sentence. That's why he just said
Is it B? Is it Bay? What's it supposed to be?
Booby.
I've never looked at Booby?
So it's spelled, if you were to Romanize it, is B-E-E. But you would pronounce that Bay.
Bay. Okay.
So
Gotcha.
B is fine.
Yeah.
To
Either's good.
Bibbidi bobbidi booby.
So, next question. Prior to GT episode 33, when was the last time Goku transformed into a great monkey?
We talked about it. We talked about it.
We did, but we didn't say the specific episode number, which he says is Dragon Ball episode 27, which he says coincidentally is also the very first episode of the entire franchise Zenpai had ever watched.
He only loses half a point. So we'll give him that.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
Merciful.
Did he ask for episode number?
He didn't.
Okay.
This is prior to episode 33.
No, sorry.
When was the last time?
Yeah.
I'm sorry this was an important moment for you, Zenpai, when you started watching the series, but we're taking the whole point.
I'm sorry how sentimental this is for you.
Let us taint that memory for the rest of your time on this planet. Next question. At the beach flashback, how many women surround Mr. Satan?
Oh, that's good. I don't know.
Oh, Doug.
It is.
Doug always remembers
Go into your
the
mind
women.
palace.
4.
It is 4. Plus the turtle hermit is there. But
Yep, I remember. Yeah. That's not a woman. Why you scare me like that? Plus.
he does. He just
Surprise
says
bonus
4.
point.
Parentheses plus the turtle hermit.
But actually,
All right,
one
Zenpai.
of them was Naruto doing sexy jutsu. So.
Yeah.
And-
Oh no! So it's actually only 3.
And one of them was Oolong and one of them was Poir. So it was just the one, actually.
No. Yep. I don't know
Next
why.
question.
I remember that so well.
We now know what part Doug pauses when he
I
watches
just remember
Dragon Ball
a
GT.
table. So there's one there, and then there's. I don't know where the 4th one is. Whatever. We can go.
How many Zeno are necessary to transform into a great monkey?
Oh.
And I specifically mentioned that number.
Just for
take
this
to the point.
purpose. Damn. To the minute number.
So Ken, just
17.
17,000.
Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
And finally, what is the one thing Mansuko Nozawa does not do a very good impression of?
Does this count as us having already talked about it?
Yes.
A cat.
Well, a giant monkey, but yeah.
Sonic the Hedgehog. Meow.
That was a joke question, so we won't take a point. So scorekeeper, we'll let
Yeah.
that one was a
Let
joke.
it slide.
Don't take that
That
point
was a
away.
good one, though.
Erase it.
Just round it down from whatever the other points were.
Yeah. I think we got a fraction in there somewhere on something.
Yeah. Just round it down.
That's true. Guys, that's going to be it. Thanks for listening. We love interacting with you, keeping in the conversation, talking about our favorite franchise in the world. You can hit us up on all them socials at We Got a Pod. You can email us at wegotapod@gmail.com. And I want to say, if you could, tell your friends to listen on Spotify in particular, because they recently changed how ad monetization works, and we can no longer eligible. I'm not getting any money. Not that I would.
Greedy,
Not that I had a lot.
money laundering Randy just wanting all that.
Well, look,
that money from the moms. Oh no, that's Ken that wants the mom money.
he just wants moms. I want the mom's money. Not that I've cashed out at all on this show. It's made a very minuscule amount, but I want to put it back into the show. There's a thing we've been talking about, and I'd like to invest it back in the show.
To give you context, there's not enough to get Doug a real microphone.
No,
We're trying to buy.
You know we made it.
We're actually trying to buy Doug a house so that he can put his figures somewhere.
We're so close, guys. We just get a few more donations and then we're all set. Every dollar counts.
Every dollar counts.
I wouldn't say
where
that
are
if I
we?
didn't
Where
buy
are we?
these
Oh.
figures.
Yeah.
Doug,
Doug, hit us
Thank
with
you to
some
Rifti Beats. I got you covering up with your name. Thank you to Rifti Beats for letting us use his track, Kakarot theme hip hop track remix. You can find that and other great music by him on his SoundCloud. Ken, where can the people find you?
you can find me, if you search Detective X, you'll probably find me, except for I do not have detectivex.com. I think it's still up for sale, but it's like hella expensive, and I'm not going to buy it, so.
No, don't do that.
Not at all. Doug, what about you?
Jabaz Doug on everything. Check me out there.
Sweet. You can find me at Saber_Breaker.
So I'm going to do this in order this time. We're now at the very end of the episode. I think that we're done. The episode's over. It's ending.
Yeah.
But not before me telling you that you need to go and tell everyone to check this show out. Like Randy said, we're all broke, okay? We need the Spotify money, and we need this YouTube money. There's no YouTube money coming in. There's no Spotify money coming in, right? Apple Podcasts, who knows, all right, guys? So don't forget about us. Tell your friends. You know, when you're on the playground and you're arguing, like, is Super Gohan Buu actually more powerful than like Gogeta, right? And you're like, well, they never even fought. So you have to compare their feats and their feet. Be like, this was covered on We Got a Podcast, and they talked about it at the end of the episode. So make sure you watch the whole thing. And at the end, they're going to say that was a stupid question, and you shouldn't have been arguing that in the first place. So
there's Randy's math corner.
Yeah.
It'll come back.
It might have to. At some point, we'll have to do topic episodes again, and we'll have to figure out some math to talk about. I think there is actually a guidebook thing about a bunch of numbers in Dragon Ball, so there is stuff to pull from, unless Kanzanchu's already did it, and then we'll just be...
You're rambling, Ken.
I am rambling, but we're at the end of the episode. The people who are here are in for the long haul and want the rambling. But I'll go ahead and stop it and just say to you, thanks for watching, subscribe, bells, and all that. Catch you, Matinator.
Bye.
Don't lick your granddaughter's tears while you're a giant ape. That was weird.
And that's the show.
I get to decide if I want to leave that in or not.
Oh, I'm leaving it in.
I wanted to point out how weird that was. I forgot. Just takes her tear. Just like, oh yeah, I am a human. Like, what?